Bonjour, hello, and guten tag. Welcome back to Viva Red. It's your boy Rai. Now, today I fucked up another gameplay. So basically, this is an awesome game between me and Drew in duos in Warzone, and I just didn't record the sound. So I've set up everything, I got it all going, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool, Drew, let's jump on, blah 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 blah. And I swapped my headphones and it just fucked it, right? So I hope you enjoy that in the background, but it means that you guys get another commentary. And I love doing commentaries because it means I get to talk about my life and share things with you and give my opinions on stuff. So if you guys enjoy this kind of thing, please let me know, leave a like, leave a comment, all that good stuff, and we'll keep bringing them to you. But today, I wanted to talk about university and why university to me was a really great time and what was the best thing that happened to me about uni. Now, the best thing straight from the off was the people. And I have some funny stories to share and also some really lucky things that happened to me that caused me to meet some of the main people in my life now, right? So without further ado, let's get straight into this. So, I am a London Brunel University graduate and I studied business and management. I got a 2-1 and I did a 4-year course, 2 years at uni, 1 placement year, and then my final year. So, throughout these years, I met hundreds of people who have had really crazy positive impact on my life. But let's start right from the beginning. There was this guy called Stefan who I met on the induction week. And I have no problem outing him here because this was nuts. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, this is a new guy. And we've walked into the lecture hall and I can see him. And I'm like, wow, this is the first time that we're going into a lecture. I'm a little bit nervous. I want to sit next to someone that I even loosely know. And as I said, I met him in the induction, so I've introduced myself to him. I walked over and I'm like, hey Stefan, my name's Ryan, I'm not sure if you remember me, but do you want to sit next to each other? And this guy, oh my days, he just turns around and he goes, no, I'm sitting over here.
Oh, that is bang out of order.
I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, there's rows of 50 people. How the fuck can I not sit next to you? And it was just very clear that the bloke just didn't want to fucking sit next to me. And I'm like, right, well, fuck you then.
Fuck you, mate.
So I've just randomly walked off, not letting him get into my head, you know. And I'm like, okay, cool, fine. I don't know anyone, but fuck it, I don't want to be friends with him. So I've just randomly sat in this row. And as I said, these rows are huge, you know, there's 400 people in this hall. And I turn to my left, and there's a space between me and the next guy. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm like, hey, I'm Ryan. He's like, hi, I'm Isaiah. This is my friend Daly. And little did I know that Isaiah and Daly would turn out to be my 2 best friends throughout uni and throughout life now. You know, we've been friends for 5 years. They come to every birthday. You know, we meet up all the time. We have group chats, everything. They are really the 2 people that I tell things to, and no bullshit, no nothing. We are there for each other every single day, and I am so grateful that Steph mugged me off on that first day, because if he didn't, I wouldn't have met my 2 best friends. And to bring the irony full circle, yeah, so the first day I get mugged off by Stefan. On the last day, my final ever lecture at Brunel, I've rocked up, I'm sitting down, and you'll never guess who comes and sits next to me. And it's man like Stefan. And I'm like, if he doesn't remember me, that's fine. But I very vividly remember this Don mugging me off hard on the first day of uni. And he comes and he sits right next to me because it was a packed out hall. And I'm just like, how the tables have turned, my friend. What a fucking honesty. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know what, yeah? And props to Stefan. He's a nice guy. He actually is a nice guy. I was talking to him. So I hadn't spoken to him the whole time since the first day to the last day. And on the last day, I was like, you know what? You mugged me off, but I'm going to say hello to you. So I'm sitting, I'm like, oh, you're right, mate. He's like, yeah, yo, I'm Stefan. I'm like, I fucking know who you are. But it was just really funny and ironic that all kind of came full circle from the first day to the last day. That's how that's how life works out, you know. So I'm very grateful to him for mugging me off, and it was cool to sit next to him in the end. Makes for a good story, you know. And as I said, Azariah and Daly, they're my boys, and I can't imagine how different my life would be if Stefan didn't mug me off. So it's really amazing to say that the two of my best friends kind of fell into my arms through chance. So that's awesome. Moving on to another set of people that I met at university who really changed my life, and that would be the guys who I lived with in my final year. Now, that whole group of people was a family, you know, and they embraced me as one of their own, you know, like they all lived together previously, and I've just walked in with my mate Etim, and we're like, oh, okay, cool, like this is a little bit weird. They all know each other and we don't know fucking anyone. And when I tell you that without them, this channel wouldn't exist, and I probably wouldn't have quit my job, and I wouldn't be doing the things I'm doing now and the things I love. I really, really mean it. And they all know who they are, but more specifically, Michael. So Michael is the guy who does all of the artwork for Viva Red. I'll leave his links in the description. And I've moved into this flat with a bunch of strangers, and he comes up to me and he's like, hey man, do you play games? And I'm like, well, I haven't played games for years because I used to only play with my brother, and he got a job, so he doesn't play as much, and la-di-da-di-da-di-da. He's like, okay, cool. Do you have Fortnite?
I like Fortnite.
And I'm sitting there like, I've never played Fortnite in my life. I'd love to do that. So I'm like, well, no, but I can download it. He's like, cool, you play on PlayStation? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh man, this is sick. Come play games with us. So in that moment, little did I know that I would game pretty much every single day for the rest of that year at uni. And I would meet Drew, Josiah, Erhan, Arban, you know, Matt, everyone. They all know who they are. Amazing guys. And I was just like, shit, man. Like, alongside the people I lived with, I met Michael, I met all of his guys that he plays games with, and it's led ultimately to this channel, because without them, I wouldn't be making the content I'm making. I wouldn't have the artwork I have. I wouldn't have even played games in my final year, so I probably wouldn't even be motivated to do this. I wouldn't have realized that I'm good at first-person shooters as much as I am, because when I used to play, I was like 16, 17, I was decent, you know, but through that final year playing so much with them, I got better. And it's really kind of funny to think as well that if I didn't live in that flat in final year, and I didn't meet Michael, and I didn't meet all of his friends and the guys I lived with, how different my life would have been. Like, it's little moments of luck that really change everything for you in a split second, you know. And it's the same with Stefan mugging me off. If I didn't get mugged off by him, I wouldn't have met Daly and Azariah. And then I've got a final story for you, which is how I met my girlfriend. And I met her in my final year, and I've walked into this lecture. This lecture's at 3 p.m. I specifically remember. It's a Thursday at 3 p.m. And it was an hour-long lecture, and I've turned up like 5-10 minutes late. And I'm walking in, and this really pretty girl is sitting next to all of my friends, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, fine, screw it. I'm walking down the aisle, and I'm moving to sit next to her, and she's like, oh no, I'll move, these are your friends. And I'm like, well, you don't have to move, like, you're already there. And by the time I said that, she's already picked up her stuff and started moving. I'm like, okay, fine. So then I sit in the seat, and she didn't do the normal thing, which is move like 2 seats on. She sat right next to me, and I'm like, right. You didn't have to move then, but fine. And she's sitting next to me, and I've got my friend sitting next to me, and both of them were getting to know each other, like, and they were talking about life and general things right over the top of me. I was like, how do I get involved in this conversation? I'm like, do either of you want to come to Camden with me to get my nose pierced? Wait, I knew for a fact that my friend was not going to come. I was not inviting her. She was going to go home. I knew it. I was specifically inviting my girlfriend because I wanted to hang out with her. And I was like, yeah, like, do you want to do that? And she turns around and she's like, when? And I'm like, well, now. And obviously she didn't want to just mug me off. I think she felt quite bad. So she's like, okay, and fine. And then I'm sitting there like, my head's going absolutely mad. I'm like, yes! And then, like, a year later, we were dating. And now I've been dating her for nearly a year. It's awesome, you know. And just that little instance where she just randomly sat next to my friends that day, and I just had the balls to kind of go, hey, do you want to come with me to get my nose fit? Like, who the fuck would say yes to that? And she did, you know, absolutely awesome. And nah, man, crazy to think that if things didn't work out the way they did, and I didn't meet the people who I did, my life would be so different. And I'm incredibly grateful for the fact that uni has given me the experience and the opportunity to meet these people and change my life and do the things I love, because my mindset wouldn't be that of, oh, quit your job, do the things you want to do, you know, live your life to the fullest, if I didn't have these people in my life supporting me. So this one's actually to them. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of content. If you do, as I said, please let me know. I'm more than happy to do a little uni mini series. I have some stupid stories to tell. But this is a big dub from me and Drew. It's a big dub to you guys because Viva Red is nearly on 80 subscribers. We want to get to 100 by the end of October. So if you like the video, like the video. If you like the content, subscribe to the content. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on Friday. Peace and love.